Burnout, particularly due to work stress, is a pervasive social phenomenon. If you hadn't had some brush with it yourself, then it's almost certain that you know someone who has. My guest today has had years of observing this phenomenon through her work and in aiding individuals facing burnout. Dr. Margaret Trey holds a PhD in counseling, has undertaken research into holistic healing of mind and body, and has authored several books on the topic. Together we'll explore whether we're now more prone to burnout than before and why. We'll identify the warning signs of burnout, and we'll start to look at ways to deal with this situation. Welcome to Vital Signs, where we learn how to get healthy from all angles, from the biochemical and nutritional to the things we do that nourish our minds and our souls. I'm Brendan Fallon. Margaret, so great to have you join us on Vital Signs today. To start with, I'm interested, I know this can be very heavy work, the kind of work that you're doing as a counselor, dealing with people facing different life pressures, facing things like burnout due to work and school pressure, all kinds of things. What's the first thing that would tell you that you're having trouble yourself and that maybe you need to take a step back and be a bit more gentler to yourself?
I think one of the first things that I would notice for myself is I'm feeling a bit exhausted and tired, and I'm skipping some meals, and there are many things for me to do, and I'm not sure which one to start. And then I realize, hey, this is not good. I didn't have lunch, and now it's dinner time, and I'm a bit tired, and mentally I am feeling rather exhausted. And this would go on for several days. And then I realized, hang on, this is not right, because it's also affecting me from doing well in what I am supposed to be doing during the day. And it takes a longer time for me to recover. Like, I have clients telling me they sleep for a long time, but the next day when they wake up, they are still feeling tired and lacking energy. Generally speaking, when you have burnout, the first thing we notice about ourselves is that we lack energy. Kind of life feels listless. And then we realize the outcome, our productivity is also reduced. And in some cases then, emotionally we will be affected, and we kind of felt negative and sometimes even cynical.
When you say that about productivity, I think there's this concept of workaholism that I can relate to very closely, in that work kind of becomes something that brings sometimes an unhealthy reward. And I see it sometimes the way that I've worked in the past. I try to do this less nowadays, but there seems to be a clear connection or a relationship between the way that I've worked in the past and the way that some people will use drugs or use alcohol. I guess in a healthy situation, you are getting a reward from working well and getting your work done. And I guess this ties into physiological effects like a dopamine release or whatever when you're completing your work. But I've experienced how that can have a negative side to it, where perhaps you're not looking after yourself very well and you're putting too much pressure on yourself, and you're chasing that dopamine hit from the work to try and make yourself feel better, and it starts to cycle.
Yes, it's definitely a cycle. And when you are in the middle of it, it is very hard to slow down, Even though my mind would tell me, okay, slow down. And I have to train my mind to actually slow down. And because of my own past training, I do have some strategies to do. Okay, I'm eating. I'm sitting, walking. And so I try to bring myself to the moment and tell myself, okay, what do I need to do now? And I slow down. I try my best to slow down. And this is the same thing that I would share with my clients. Usually they don't see it happening, and when they do, then we will look at strategies. And the first thing is, when they come to see me, they always ask me, tell me what to do. And then I would usually put it back in their hands and ask them, well, you have many years of experience. You have come a long way in life. Tell me what has worked for you.
I can see that being very important, to kind of reinforce the person's own toolkit, their own strategies that they've worked out themselves through life to deal with that situation.
Yes, because when a person has burnout, it's very likely that they not only feel overwhelmed, not only emotionally drained, they're going to feel down. I'm not good enough. I can't do it well. They feel depressed and they also are unable to meet the constant demands from work, from maybe personal life, because there can be burnouts from different areas. It could be work, it could be a mother looking after a couple of kids at home and finding it very hard. So it's about caregiving. If you are a caregiver, a family member needs your support, or it could be about pursuing your own goals, and then you find yourself caught in these. And so, in order to get out, we have to first of all realize that, okay, this is where I am, and then explore my own toolkit. What have I got? What have brought me here? And my clients would tell me, right, okay, I take a bath, I take a nice shower, or I put on some essential oil, put it on myself, or I'll drink a cup of chamomile tea, or go outside for a walk in a garden. So we start from that. So the very important thing that for my role is to share with them, let them know what are the signs of burnout, like when they have no time, literally no time for non-work related activities. That's when you realize you have to slow down. Most people don't use the term burnout. People just feel down, they feel overwhelmed, mentally slow and lethargic, don't want to go to work.
Maybe in a very intense workplace situation, perhaps you're not looking after yourself very well and you're putting too much pressure on yourself and you're chasing that dopamine hit from the work to try and make yourself feel better, and it starts to cycle.
Yes, it's definitely a cycle. And when you are in the middle of it, it is very hard to slow down. So the very important thing is to know what are the signs of burnout. Once we are in the initial stage, we feel physically tired. We realize that we are getting annoyed easily, feeling kind of unaccomplished, unappreciated. That's when you realize you have to slow down.
I think that's very beneficial when you give yourself a bit of space to be able to look at how you might be reacting to things and consider, was my reaction really valid in that situation?
That is so true. And once that's happening, then we can already take small steps. Don't wait until we have the full-blown burnout.
To see that full interview and others on how to optimize health, go to ept.ms/vital signs.